back into the report. We're still in the morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, if you'll just lean up a little bit into the microphones, just to make sure that your voice picks up, carries for everybody to hear. Could you introduce yourself and give us your name?
My name is Stephen Breyer.
All right, and Ms. Breyer, who do you work for?
Gwinnett County Police Department.
All right, and so Officer Breyer,
Yes.
what is your? How long have you been with the police department?
About 2 years.
And prior to being with Gwinnett County Police, did you have any experience with other law enforcement agencies?
No.
All right. I want to take you, at this point, are you a post-certified law enforcement officer with powers of arrest in the state of Georgia?
Yes.
Now, I want to take you back to July 2022, I apologize. February 6th of 2023 is the date I want to take you back to. Were you employed with the Gwinnett County Police Department at that time?
Yes.
And what was your role?
Just a police officer, working the road.
You said walking the road?
Working the road, I'm sorry.
Working the road.
Patrol.
Okay, I got you. And were you part of the Uniform Patrol Division where you would just patrol and answer calls for service?
Yes.
All right. And what precinct were you a part of at that time?
I was on my field training at East Precinct.
Field training. Describe for the jury what that means.
I just graduated the academy, and I was working with a seasoned officer learning how to patrol the road.
All right. So were you riding on a normal day-to-day basis, were you riding with another officer in the same car?
Yes.
And who was your supervisor at that time?
I don't remember his name.
That's okay. But you weren't by yourself.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, how is it that when you're on the road, you're patrolling, do you oftentimes get calls from dispatch or from the police department telling you to go and respond to a particular incident?
All the time.
All the time. How does that work normally?
It's kind of, there's like two ways. Normally on my computer, I can see the pending calls coming from the call taker, and I can see what's coming prior to the dispatcher telling me. And then the other way is the classic where the dispatcher will tell me, hey, there's a call coming, you're going to go to that call.
All right. So you either, if somebody dispatches you to a call, the dispatcher, do you hear that over the radio, or do they call you on your phone?
A radio.
Okay. A police-issued radio?
Yes.
Now, on February 6th of 2023, were you working that day?
Yes.
And do you recall what shift you were on at that time?
Shift as in like cycle or FTO?
No, well, I'm sorry. I should have been more specific. Were you working days or nights?
Days.
Days. All right. Did you receive a call that day or a dispatch to respond to the finding of human remains?
Yes.
Where was that? Where did the call tell you to go? Where were you going?
It told me to go between two roads on 316,
Okay.
going eastbound, or going towards was that Barrow County? I think going outside of Gwinnett. Yeah.
All right. You headed towards Athens?
Yes.
Okay. So, and what was the information, if you recall, that you received about that call, that dispatch?
From what I remember, it was dispatched as a suspicious activity call, saying that a random person had found what he believed was human remains in the woods off of 316.
That day, were you riding with the field training officer or the supervisor who was teaching you the ropes?
Yes.
Okay. Did y'all respond to that location, to the location on 316?
Yes.
And may I approach the witness, John? I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 12. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
All right, can you tell us what it is?
It's a disc that says Exhibit 12, Officer Breyer, body worn camera.
All right. Have you reviewed your body-worn camera from that day?
Yes.
All right. And have you viewed it on this disc?
Yes.
Is what's contained on this disc a fair and accurate copy of the video recorded by your body-worn camera on February 6th of 2023 as it relates to the dispatch of the suspicious activity of the remains?
Yes.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit 12. Excuse me.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 12 is admitted without objection.
how does you explain to the jury, the Gwinnett County Police Department, are you guys equipped with body-worn camera footage?
Yes.
How do they work?
So the body-worn camera can be operated either manually, as in I can turn it on, but we have recently updated. So like if you turn on the taser or pull out your weapon, it can also activate that way too. And some models have, if you turn on your lights on your car, they'll turn on your body-worn camera too.
Okay. Do you know, back in February 6th of 2000, on this date, how your body-worn camera was activated?
I manually activated it.
Manually activated. And what is the policy of the Gwinnett County Police Department when it comes to activating the body-worn camera?
At any time we interact with the public, it will be turned on.
All right. And obviously you're in field training at that time, and you've got the supervisor in the car, so you activated it when you got to the scene?
Yes.
All right. What did you encounter? What did you see when you first got to the area?
It was dusk, heavily wooded. There was the caller who called 911, his car, I don't remember the make, model of the car, just parked on the side of the road down in an embankment. The woods probably started 20 feet away from 316. We met in the little grassy area between the woods and 316. He had told us what he had found.
All right. And so the caller, you spoke with the caller once you got there on scene?
Yes.
And from there, after speaking with him, what did you do?
He said he remembered where the remains were, and he was going to show us, and we followed him into the woods to find the remains.
And ultimately, did you find what you believed to be human remains?
Yes.
Judge, can I publish State Exhibit number 12?
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, this is of the jury. This is going to be a video. If you cannot see it or hear it, usually there'll be a silent part in the beginning. When it starts, there won't be audio, but if you can't see or hear it, let me know and we'll make arrangements.
And the judge has astutely pointed out something I wanted to ask you. When you activate your body-worn camera, how long does it take for the audio to come on?
30 seconds.
All right. So in this body-worn camera footage, in the first 30 seconds of it, is there any audio?
No.
And is that normal whenever you activate your body-worn camera?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
And officer, you have and do you need, there's water if you need.
Oh, thank you. No, bro. I promise I'm not for you, bro.
Well, that's why you turn your rear blues off.
That's fucking piece of shit. What brings you out here?
Honestly, I just saw the little road on the side of 316. I've just been out piddling, exploring.
Kind of reminds me of one of those like mud and trails or something, you know?
Well, I mean, just dead end. And actually, I was leaving. And my sister called. My mom's in the hospital, so I was talking to her. And I can't hear in that. So I just started walking in a circle.
Okay.
And stumbled on it. So it's all been here for a while.
Oh, yeah. You know, nice day for a walk in the woods.
Right?
Is it off like this road, or is it a little ways off?
Go right up over here. There's a pile of trash. What do y'all do with something like this?
Well, we gotta send it to the medical camera, figure out who they are.
Really?
If it is a person, you know.
Well, it's definitely a person. But, I mean,
Yeah, well,
I understand.
I mean,
330
somebody
Alpha
with a medical
Cobra.
degree is gonna have to examine it.
Sure. All right, well, we can test the road. We'll get out.
Oh, who's that?
313 Alpha Cobra.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
313 Alpha Cobra.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Sorry, I got all this stuff on, so. Around here somewhere?
Like I said, this has been here for a while. And there's more. I walked straight that way and there's a few more over there.
430 or 410.
We'll go ahead, just move back a little bit. We'll have to close it off anyhow.
All right.
You want 59, looks like we got 46 woods.
Can I get your information? Yeah, it's what's your first name?
Matthew. There's, like I said, like right over there is the other hip, and
What's your last name?
Gilbert, Gilbert.
And then what's your date of birth?
61076.
And what's your phone number?
678-409-6165.
All right. And then, is the address you live at current to what's on your vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Sure is.
Well, if you just want to step back a little bit, we're gonna see how far we got to cordon this off. I got some tape in the back of my car too.
He'll do it. That way we can.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll hang out here until we get the tape for you.
Oh, I need to get my phone. I can take pictures.
That's all right. We'll let, once he gets tape, we'll come back
Okay.
and do it. But
Is this guy free to go? Or?
yeah, I mean, unless we got us 39 minutes.
Yeah. A 28 by name, 28 or 27, 29 by date of birth?
Yeah, just go over there and do it.
434 the radio.
434.
1027, 29 by name and date of birth.
Go ahead.
Last name's going to be Gilbert. Golf India Lima Bravo Echo Romeo Tango. First name Matthew, common spelling. Date of birth is 1976 0610.
434.
Just for the record, I'm pausing this at 6 minutes and 56 seconds into the video. It shows on the video itself shows it at 2,259 hours and 42 seconds.
Okay.
Officer Brayer, let me just go over a few things here with you. First of all, I just called out a time of 2,200 hours, 58 minutes. I know military time, so I know that's 10:58 p.m. in military time, but it appears to me that that does not appear to be the actual time that you are present there on the scene. Can you tell us what's going on with the time in the video?
Just however, the IT guys who set up the body-worn camera, they just never updated the time in the system.
Okay, so what time is it actually whenever you responded?
I believe it was close to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with Universal Coordinated Time or UTC time?
Just briefly.
Okay. Do you have any idea how, did you know that your body cameras are actually calibrated in UTC time?
I did, but I don't know the conversion.
Okay, all right. So there is a conversion to convert it back to Eastern time, to the time that you're there. You're just not sure what it is.
Yes.
Okay. What's important here is that it's not 10:58 at night.
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's a lot more to the video here, but I kind of want you just to tell us, when you got out there after finding, when you found the remains, did they appear to be human remains to you?
Yes.
And what was obvious about that to you?
It just stood out. You see fake Halloween decoration, skeletons, but these did not look plasticky or altered or anything like that. The first thing that came to mind was they were human.
Okay. In that instance, when this happened, what did you guys do? You and your supervisor was there, and it appears there was one other officer there. What did you guys do at that point when you found these?
So we knew that obviously it was a crime scene, so we were going to go cordon off the area with crime scene tape. I believe that's what the other officer was doing, walking back to his car to get some tape, and that's why I had mentioned to my other officer, I have some tape in my back of the car too, to cordon off the area. We stayed to make sure that Mr. Gilbert, who was still there, wouldn't. We stayed to preserve the crime scene at that point.
Sure. And of course, why is that important? Explain to the jury why you do that.
Well, evidence tampering.
Right. Don't want anybody to either intentionally or inadvertently mess up a crime scene.
Yes.
The crime scene tape, do you use that to affect that purpose, to make sure that nobody crosses it and accidentally or purposely does anything to it?
Yes.
Once you found these remains, did y'all end up putting up crime scene tape around the area?
Yes.
And how long were you out there on scene that evening, if you know?
I don't recall. I know we weren't out there more than like an hour because it was a shift change. We got relief from the nighttime officers to relieve us.
Okay. When did your shift switch over?
I believe it was
6 p.m.?
6:30, I think.
Or 6:30. Okay. So this was shortly before the end of your shift.
Yes.
All right. And then after you, by the time you left, had anybody else shown up?
Yes.
And who was that had shown up by the time you left?
Just other nighttime precinct officers. I don't remember their names.
Okay. Was the homicide unit notified?
Based on protocol, I'm sure they were. Again, I wasn't there when they did it.
Understood. After you left the scene that night, on that day, February 6th, was that kind of the end of your involvement on that day?
No.
Okay. What else did you do?
The very next day, because you can see in the video, it's dusk, it's nighttime coming. The next day, they were going to do a grid search to try to find any more evidence, anything that had missed that they couldn't find at nighttime.
Explain what a grid search is.
You take specific areas of the crime scene, and I believe for the next day we did just a normal lateral where we just lined up and just walked straight. Got to a certain point, we'd either go left, go right, or turn back around to try to find anything you missed.
So in terms of, you said you just line up laterally, so a whole bunch of people get in a line side by side and just walk through a crime scene?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Correction. Outside the bounds of the crime scene tape. Because I believe when we got there the next day, the MEs were still working, doing ME things at the crime scene. So we did the search around the crime scene tape, I believe.
And you used a term that I immediately recognized, but I want to make sure. You said ME.
Medical examiner.
Medical examiner. So the next day, February 7th, do you recall what time it was whenever you were out there the next day?
I know it was early, prior 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. And then were you a part of the grid search that occurred that day?
Yes.
All right. And you started looking for
Whatever you can find.
whatever you can find. Were you told anything specific to look for, or you were just looking for anything that looks like it might be out of place?
Anything that could be out of place.
Okay. Was anything discovered during that grid search?
But yes, discovered a firearm.
All right. A firearm. Do you recall what kind of firearm it was?
I think it was a Glock 19. I don't remember the generation.
Okay. And explain what you mean by generation.
Glock has like a generation 1 through 5, just different years, just how you like different year models of like a car, for instance.
Understood. Were you present when that firearm was located?
Yes.
Excuse me, just 1 second, officer. When the firearm was found, did you have any involvement with that firearm?
I went to where the firearm was located, stood around it, make sure nothing was tampered with. We let crime scene investigation take some photos of it. Once they were done with their part, they picked it up carefully, not to disrupt any DNA or fingerprints that could be on it. Found the serial number, and I used my police radio to call dispatch to see if they could run the serial number and make sure if it was stolen or not.
Good to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibits number 14.16 through 14.22. You take a look at those photographs, let me know if you recognize what's contained in them.
You go from 14.16 through 14.22?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, that's the Glock firearm.
All right. And you look at them to yourself and let me know when you're finished. Do you recognize what's contained in those photographs?
Apart from the pistol, the
No, just generally when you look at the photographs, do you recognize what those photographs are?
yes.
Okay. And are they, what are they? What are the photographs?
It's Glock 19 Gen 5 with a mounted light and appears to be a full magazine of bullets.
Let me ask you, is this the Glock 19 millimeter handgun that you observed and ultimately ran the serial number on February 7th of 2023?
Yes.
Do those photographs appear to be a true and accurate representation of that firearm?
Yes.
All right, Judge, I'd move to admit State's Exhibits number 14.16 to 14.22.
I'm sorry, I put them out of order.
State's Exhibit 14.16 to 14.22 are admitted without objection.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Judge, may I move to publish? Thank you. And you can hold on to it right there.
Oh, okay.
Could you put up the first one, 14.16, for me, please? All right. And could you zoom in there to the middle of the photograph just so we can see? Officer, what are we looking at here?
It's a Glock 19 that's covered up by some brush.
All right. And if we can go to the next one. All right. And again, this one, 14.17. What is it we're looking at here?
Oh, same pistol, just different angle.
Different angle. All right. And the next one, 14.18.
Zoomed in version of the same pistol.
All right. Next one. All right. And what are we looking at here?
The pistol with all the pine straw taken off of it.
All right. And so here on the end, you described that on, what is that on underneath the barrel portion right here? It's labeled TLR7. What is that?
It's a flashlight.
A flashlight. Have you ever operated a firearm that has a light like that?
Yes.
All right. How does it function?
There's On that particular one, I'm not quite sure, but the ones I've dealt with, there's usually two switches. One kind of like a permanent on switch, and another one's just like a flick that you take it, push it down with your thumb, and then when you release it, it turns off.
Okay. Are those used to, I guess, illuminate the area where you're pointing the firearm?
Yes.
Okay. We go to the next photograph, 14.20. All right, here, what are we looking at?
Same pistol. They just took, CSI, crime scene investigation, took out the magazine.
All right, and was the magazine, go ahead to the next one, 14.21.
Sorry.
It's all right, 14.21. The picture here, what are we looking at?
The magazine that came from the Glock, what appears to be full of 9mm bullets
Okay, so
or rounds.
this appears to have live 9mm ammunition in it?
Yes.
Okay. And the last one, 14.22? All right, and again, what are we looking at here?
The same pistol, just flipped over.
All right. You were responsible for taking this firearm and running the serial number. Does every firearm have a serial number?
They should.
Okay. Well, is it federal law that every firearm has to have a serial number?
Yes.
All right. Did this firearm have a serial number?
Yes.
And did you run that serial number? Did you run the serial number?
I had radio. The way it works is I went away from the computer. I found the serial number, read it with my radio to give to dispatch, who then ran it through NCIC, and then whatever return that NCIC gave to dispatch, they would then tell me over the radio the result of that.
Okay. All right. What is NCIC?
What is it? National Crime?
It's okay if you don't
Yeah,
remember.
that's
It's all
all I
right. What is the purpose of it?
It's a database the federal government uses to track stolen items, cars, firearms.
Okay.
Things like
What
that.
was the purpose of you running the serial or having dispatch run that serial number through NCIC?
Just to make sure if it was stolen or not.
All right. And did you get a return after giving the serial number to the dispatcher?
Yes.
And what was the return?
Return stolen.
All right. Did you receive any information as to whom reported it stolen?
I'm sure radio told me, but I don't remember what they told me. I think it wasn't until I got back to my car where I was actually able to look and see who it was stolen to.
Okay.
Or from.
And so did you do that? Did you go back to your car and actually look up the results on the return?
I'm sure I did, but I don't remember.
You don't recall who it was, who reported it stolen?
I don't recall.
That's okay. Officer, those are the only questions I have for you. Thank you.
I don't have any questions.
Your question, may we release this witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, John.